The craziest thing about The Equalizer 3 is that somehow, some way, this film has better jump scares than Insidious The Red Door. Make it make sense. So The Equalizer 3 is the third and the final installment into the Equalizer films, officially making it a trilogy. The film is directed by Antoine Fuqua and it stars Denzel Washington, Dakota Fanning, and Gaia Scodelario. Since giving up his life as a government assassin, Robert McCall finds himself peace in a new home in southern Italy. As he discovers his new friends are under the control of local crime bosses, McCall knows what he has to do to protect his friends and sustain his peace of mind. Off the gate, the best part about all of the Equalizer films is Denzel Washington. Like, if there is one actor who would deliver on every single movie that he is in, it is him. Dude, the aura and the charisma of this man is impeccable. Like, the entire movie could have been him sipping tea for an hour and 50 minutes straight. I still would have been entertained. But when he is not in his charming and peaceful state of mind, this dude is dropping bodies quicker than Batman in the Snyderverse. In this film, just like his predecessors, he is intimidating and menacing, and he just makes it look so damn cool. Like, Robert McCall is a badass. He is brutally massacring criminals, and when he does it, the film makes his presence feel a lot like Michael Myers. So, for example, there is a part in the movie in which he's killing a group of criminals. And with one of the criminals that he's killing, he legitimately looks into that person's eyes as their life drains from their body, which is wild. And there are other scenarios where he appears out of the shadows before killing someone. Like, that is some horror movie type shit. It had me looking like, damn. I truly will miss Denzel Washington as Robert McCall. Also, Robert McCall's theme song was oddly mesmerizing. Like, imagine a distorted version of Miguel O'Hara's theme from Across the Spider-Verse. Then again, Miguel O'Hara was also a menace, so makes sense. The supporting cast was great. I really enjoy how the people of this town really displayed the love, joy, and peace that flows within this community. Everything from the townsfolk socializing at the coffee shop to all of them coming together and celebrating a traditional holiday. When Robert first ends up in the townsfolk take him in as one of their own and respect him, even though he hasn't fully met them all. And I just think that the entire supporting cast did a fantastic job at showing this somewhat perfect utopia that Robert McCall needs after working for so long as a government assassin. And with this being an action thriller, you know there is going to be action. And the action overall in here, pretty solid. When the action is going on, Denzel kills it. No pun intended. However, there wasn't as many action scenes as I thought there was going to be. So if I remember correctly, there were only a total of 3 action scenes throughout this entire hour and 50-minute runtime. And look, I get what Antoine Fuqua was trying to do with Robert McCall's character as far as ending this story by giving him some closure and peace of mind. I understand that completely. However, with this being the final chapter, you would think they would have went all out with the action, and one could argue that they did, but to me personally, I think they could have done a bit better. I'm not saying this movie had to have had as many action scenes as in John Wick 4, but I felt kind of let down with that aspect. Again, great action, just wish there was more of it. This movie has some really good intense moments. Even without Denzel, those scenes were still just as intense. Those intense moments got me real good because those jump scares were the last things that I was expecting out of an action thriller. But here we are. If an action thriller has better jump scares than a horror film, then that horror film needs to really reevaluate its strategies. I kind of hated the fact that while watching this film, I couldn't help but to think that I was watching 2 different movies. One part felt like the Equalizer film that you all came to see, in which Denzel Washington is just dropping bodies left, right, and center. And the other part of it felt like another action movie, but with the FBI versus the crime bosses. Sure, they were all connected through Robert McCall, but I feel like, again, with this being the final chapter and this movie, really this whole trilogy focusing on Robert McCall, I just wish that this movie had taken some of those scenes that was the FBI versus the mob bosses and turned that into Robert McCall versus the mob bosses. You know what I mean? I know that may be kind of a nitpick or a hot take, but I stand on that. And this movie drags a lot in the second act. The first act was actually done really well. And then came the second act, and that is all built up. But the thing is, that second act took way too long to lead into the satisfying third act. In the end, The Equalizer 3 is a pretty solid finale to the Equalizer trilogy. It's one of my personal favorite Denzel Washington roles, and honestly, I will miss his performance as Robert McCall. So plugging the Equalizer 3 into the rank system, I am placing this one into the pass zone. Man, first John Wick, then Robert McCall? Saying goodbye to popular action characters and giving them proper send-offs is never easy. But yeah, that is pretty much my review for the Equalizer 3. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys thought about the Equalizer 3. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What's your favorite Denzel Washington movie? Where would you rank the Equalizer 3 in the trilogy? Whatever you thought, let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, guys, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. And I will see you all in the next one.
After working up the nerve, almost equal in size, I walked around with the iron for any wrinkle in time. I paid a piece of my mind for every nickel and dime, but never less than a 5 and never slept on the job. A killer crept on your squad, yet never left the garage, where your guide was close enough to see the flesh of his eyes. Get to the button and press, it's what the message advised. What's the threat behind the message where the testament lies?